FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Mr. Dobbs, you've spent a good amount of time talking about the broken borders at the bottom of the immigration spectrum, people jumping the border with Mexico. Is the top end of the immigration spectrum broken as well? H-1B visas, people trying to come into this country and work for large Fortune 500s?
Yes, and the H-1B, well, nearly every visa program is broken. And those that aren't broken, you know, we're still susceptible to the overstays on visas. 40% of illegal immigration, it's estimated, is comprised of overstays on visas. The reality is that questioning minds must inquire, why is it that our border remains absolutely wide open more than 6 years after September 11th? Inquiring minds have to ask, why in the world are we only inspecting 5% of the cargo coming into our nation's ports? This does not require great investigative journalism. Thank God. Not much of it's being practiced in the national media these days. And when you talk about the H-1B visa programs, you know, Senator Ted Kennedy held a hearing earlier at the beginning of the year in which he invited one guest witness, and that was Bill Gates, to talk about H-1B visas. Bill Gates responded, who may be just a fine fellow in so many respects, but who responded he wanted an infinite number of visas so that he could bring in the best and the brightest, you know, because Bill is one of the best and the brightest in the country. And Senator Kennedy sat there nodding his head. And the reality is that H-1B visas, an infinite number of them, would be just as would just be exponentially destructive, as you might expect, as the current H-1B visa program, in which 7 out of 10 visas are going to Indian companies domiciled in the United States for the purpose of domestic outsourcing to Indian H-1B visa holders who are paid on average $12,000 a year less than their American counterparts. Now, you hear Bill Gates talk about the best and the brightest. Well, folks, 3/4 of the people being brought under the H-1B visa programs, 3/4 of them are coming in as L1s, which is the lowest skill level, not at the level 4, which is the highest skill level. 3/4 of them. The lies associated with the H-1B visa program, the myths that corporate America has attempted, and particularly the technology industry, has attempted to perpetuate around H-1B visas is, I think, breathtaking and worthy of a federal investigation by one of these two political parties, which always, of course, has the interest of the American people at heart. And if you doubt, if you doubt that, just watch 1600 Pennsylvania and Capitol Hill closely day to day. The borders are broken. The H-1B visa program is broken because corporate America and special interest groups have been driving policy that is now being driven, frankly, by Felipe Calderon, the president of Mexico, in terms of cross-border migration, as the Mexican government likes to refer to it. The facts are staring every one of us in the face. Both of these parties have ignored the will of the people. They've ignored their responsibilities. Their office holders that we sent to Washington, D.C. are, for the most part, abject slaves to the interest of corporate America and the illegal employers. If you wanted to solve the issue of illegal immigration, the first step you would take is to provide significant resources to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the Border Patrol, and put together severe sanctions against the executives of companies employing illegal aliens. The problem would begin to resolve itself rather quickly, along with the other enforcement efforts. It's a shame to see the national media and both political parties and our elected officials, and certainly the leadership of both political parties in Washington, D.C., perpetuate a lie against, obviously, the interests of the American people, but in direct violation of their oaths of office. They're contemptible.